So today, lads, I'm going to be talking a little bit about the Indiana Fever in free agency this year and why they need to be really, really, really careful with who they sign. And I would be worried that they might make the same mistake again that they made with DeWanna Bonner. And if you guys agree that this is something that the Fever can't do, subscribe. We are trying to get to 57,800. So we're just trying to gain that one subscriber back. We're trying to gain that one subscriber back. That'd be great if we could do that today. But that being said, the DeWanna Bonner situation. So DeWanna Bonner was an all-star in 2024. She played well in the playoffs. She was a starter for the third best team in the league. And the expectation was in free agency that she was going to sign with Alyssa Thomas for the Phoenix Mercury. A lot of people thought that the fit with the Indiana Fever was the best fit. A lot of people thought there was always a chance of DeWanna Bonner going to the Fever. But it seemed like it was, okay, she's going to the Mercury, but people were like, oh, maybe the Fever would have been the right decision. Which is what a lot of people thought initially. However, the difference is the Phoenix Mercury could only offer her a minimum contract, whereas the Fever could offer her a maximum. So she took the max and went to Indiana. And at the start, things went great. She wanted to be there. She was happy. She was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. She was their marquee free agent signing. And in preseason, she didn't look great, but she didn't look awful. She looked okay. And she needed 7 points in her debut to go third all-time in scoring. And in a packed Cambridge Fieldhouse, she scored those points. 15,000 people cheering for her. And at the end of the game, was delighted that that the fans were cheering for her. I'm pretty sure, I might be wrong, I'm pretty sure she said they were the best fans in the world. She had 15,000 people cheering for her in a game that they won by 30 points. And then she went home to being called slurs on Twitter by Angel Reese fans, being a BS accusation of a specific animal noise being made at Angel Reese that never happened. Apparently, Dave Portnoy made that noise towards Angel Reese, which then became the thing. Because people very evidently heard him say "ball don't lie" when she missed a free throw. And then that overshadowed her record. Nobody spoke about the fact that her record was, or what she had done. No one spoke about the game because people on Twitter started a nonsense investigation. Then 12 hours later, the WNBA said they were investigating this issue. The WNBPA spoke about it like it was fact, that those same fans that were cheering her, she called the best fans in the world, were in fact racist. And then her partner came out and said that she believed that they were racist, and they did do what never happened, and the person who made the accusation was proven to never have been at the game. And her partner came out and said that it did happen, or implied that it did happen. And from then on, she was done. She was checked out. From that moment on, it was over. And what does that mean? If you are going to be a member of the Indiana Fever, you, under no circumstances, can let the WNBA narratives affect you. And by the way, Sid Colson said it as much. When she chose to go to Indiana, basically, she very much implied that people turned on her. As in, people in WNBA circles, not just random people on Twitter. Like, people around the league that were involved in the league turned on her for joining Indiana. It was very clear that this Indiana Fever team, the reason why they were so good was because it was an us versus the world mentality. They know everyone hates them. And DeWanna Bonner, by the looks of things, she couldn't deal with that. That's what it seemed like. From the outside looking in, it seemed like she could not deal with that. And it didn't help that the on-the-court stuff wasn't going well either. That didn't help. Rumor is, and by the way, like, I had been hearing this, and this is the weirdest thing about WNBA circles, is that, like, again, with the Iowa State, the whole team transferring out, like, that got leaked on Reddit. Like, the day the season ended, that got leaked on Reddit. So many of these things. DeWanna Bonner, when she had missed her very first game, and by the way, it was as soon as Caitlin Clark was back in the squad, she never played again. Like, from what I got a DM from somebody, and again, I didn't think anything of it, and I don't know how true this is, and it could have been just a crazy speculation. When DeWanna Bonner missed that first game for personal reasons, someone said DeWanna Bonner requested a trade, or DeWanna Bonner wants out, is refusing trades, and will never play for the Fever again. And there were a lot of posts. If you saw on Twitter, there were a lot of posts. People were quoting DeWanna Bonner missing that first game for personal reasons. People were like, she's never playing for Fever again. And it was very, very clear that all that bullshit, she didn't want any part of it. It's very clear that I don't know if there was a personal hatred of DeWanna Bonner for Caitlin Clark, and I don't know if there's a hatred on a personal level, but there was very clearly a not liking of of the circus around Caitlin Clark from DeWanna Bonner. And I'm talking about this because we can talk about this in hindsight, because DeWanna Bonner was the right move to make at the time. She was the right move to make. This is an all-star vet when you have the money, who can shoot the three, who plays defense, who can guard 1 through 4, who can be a really solid player in any role. And she was the right move. DeWanna Bonner was the right move to make if this was NBA 2K and you were trying to fit in a player in my NBA to build a team. However, this isn't NBA 2K. This is real life. And the Fever need to make it so very clear. And by the way, this is for the young players are fine. There is no player under the age of 24 years old that is going to be affected by this bullshit, that is going to care so much about what the WNBA threads cesspit think. And I don't mean that them specifically, but like that general community. There's none of them. None of these young players give a flying fuck about that, because they've had to deal with all the bullshit through college. They've had to deal with all the bullshit that comes with being a high-level professional athlete through college. So there's not going to be any issue. We were like, oh, they need Sophie back for that reason. They don't, ideally you bring Sophie back. But there are other enforcer type players that can play Sophie's role. Maybe not to the extent of Sophie, but there are other ones. That being said, if you're looking at it, and you got to be very, very careful in free agency if you are signing a WNBA vet. And you got to make sure they know what they're getting themselves into. You got to make sure they know when things are going well, these are the best fans in the world. But just like the Lakers, just like the Yankees, just like Real Madrid, just like Barcelona, when things are going bad, the fans in the arena are still great, but every single person is going to have an opinion on social media. Rival fans will laugh at your bad games. Fans of the Fever, if you have a bad game, will go after you. That is the way this happens online. Just don't look at Twitter. Don't look at Twitter. Don't worry about any of the outside narrative. Can you keep it all? Can you keep it all inside? And by the way, it's not just DeWanna Bonner that's been affected by it. It fucked with Alyssa Smith as well, by the way. It really fucked with Alyssa Smith. And I mean this when I say this. I couldn't care less what players are dating what players. I actually don't care. As long as it doesn't affect what is happening on the floor. And it did seem like it mattered if it affected DeWanna Bonner and Alyssa Smith. At the same time, I don't think a free agency signing should be based on that. It should be purely based on basketball. But the question that the Fever have to ask is, will this player allow outside narratives to affect them? If the answer is yes, or if the answer is even potentially yes, then you don't sign them. Even if you have to sign a worse player. Anyone who is, for lack of a better way of saying this, too close to somebody that could be pushing any anti-Fever narratives, you gotta not sign them. And it's I don't think Alyssa Smith was a negative to the team in any way off the floor. By all accounts, Alyssa Smith was extremely well liked with the team, but you could see it was killing her inside. You could see all the shit that was going on was killing her, and it was making her play worse. You just have to be, realistically, you just have to be just smart about it. You have to be smart about all this stuff when you're the Fever, because it's more than basketball. Because if you can get someone who's fully bought in, having this us versus the world mentality, having this everyone is against us, it's us and we are our team. For this regular season, we don't give a fuck about anyone on the other team. This locker room is all that matters. That has never really been the mentality. Well, you can see it hasn't really been the mentality in a lot of WNBA. And if you don't have that mentality, there's no point being on the Indiana Fever, because we've seen inferior players excel if they have the mentality of buying into that system than superior players that didn't buy into the system. Hence why DeWanna Bonner, even when she was there, wasn't playing well for Indiana. They got to be really careful to not make the DeWanna Bonner mistake again. And it's really easy to do. It is really easy to do. It's really easy to go, you know what, we can get this elite veteran player who just doesn't fit the team in terms of the mentality needed to win with this Indiana Fever team, and especially with the way Steph White seems to want to coach this team. And in fairness, the one thing she's done exceptionally well is making an us versus the world mentality from these players, which is a really good thing to have, especially because there are going to be situations for injuries and you're next man up. So anyway, yeah, that is the video. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.